allow me to introduce you to Varley's RS4. Now, if you look back across our YouTube channel, right to the very beginning, I'm pretty sure the first video that we ever made was on Varley's GTR. Now, whilst that's only 3 years ago, because our channel's about that old, the actual job was about 9 years ago, 8 or 9 years ago. It was one of our first jobs for Varley. We've done many since. He's a really good friend of ours now. He considers a studio Incar system in his car as a compulsory thing, which is a privilege for us. So, fast forward 9 or 10 years, we're here with his RS4. Varley's quite particular. He's not super particular in terms of our ideas. He allows our ideas to flow, but he wants to know exactly what's going on, what's happening, and he wants it all in a brief before we do the job. So we go quite far with Varley when we're sorting out his jobs, which is no problem for me. I ask all of our guys to give us as much information as we possibly can. All of it trickles down to the best job. So anyway, it's quite a special install, this one. The idea started life as a sort of heavy show element in the boot and things like that, but we've slowly come away from that. We're taking a much more functional and sound-based approach in here now. So I'll show you the boot. The boot has to be functional, although the sub box will span left to right across the back seats, or where it meets the back seats, but this will be a removable product, so you can just take it out in seconds and away you go. The car's having a 3-way active front end. It's having 9 channels of amplification. Now, I'll explain that when we get to the boot. This is slightly different to what we usually do in this one. So twin JLTW5s and all of the sound deadening. So this one's gone pretty old school in terms of the sound deadening. We've stripped everything out. We must deaden Varley's cars. When we were first introduced, the first thing we did was a small amount of sound deadening. Varley wanted to see the difference in value between the different packages, and he did. He went through them systematically, and he'll never come back from the full package now, everything done. So full floors, doors, pillars, quarters, boot floor, everything like that. What we've done with the rear doors is we've sealed off the rear doors, so we've removed the speaker and we've panelled over, so that's just effectively a solid panel now. He's not having rear speakers in this. So let's take a look at the car, and what I'll do, I'll explain what we're doing in this car that's slightly different to what we usually do, and I'll explain each step. But this will be episode 1. There'll be a second episode on this because it's taken a fair amount of time, this car. Varley unfortunately bumped into a booking that ran over by about a week and a half, and he's been subject to all the other bookings in the meantime. So if you're watching this, I'm sorry, mate, but we will get it done. It's just one of those things. All right, let's have a look at it. Don't get too excited about the Nova. I'm sure we'll do another episode on that soon. He's in here hiding from this chronic weather outside. It's like a little sugar cube, it will melt away. Anyway, this panel you can see is the beginning of the sub box. Stuart is just starting the sub box. The sub box will be flush against the back of the seats, and it'll come out a few inches, and they will be, the subs will be mounted vertically in the front of that and then trimmed to match the rest of the car. But that's that's for the next episode. Under here is quite a nice OEM fit stack of amplifiers. So this is a 51K HD, and underneath it we have a Quattro. Here we have a bit 10D, and then we have the fusing and everything like that. Now this isn't 100% finished, so you can see there's a twisted pair there. We always send a twisted pair down a car even if we're not going to use it. But with the bit 10D, you're bearing in mind how long ago Varley's first system was with us. He's carried a lot of his kit through. So this 51K is probably 7 or 8 years old, probably about 7 years old, because it was part of the second system we did for him. But he's always had the bit 10D. Now, Audison introduced something called full DA around 2010, 2011, and we helped pioneer it. We sent constant feedback and everything like that. And with the bit 10D and the original bit 1 and the original input boards, it was a rock solid product, just full digital transfer between the processor and the amplifiers. As time went on, firmware updates and customers that had older amplifiers and things like that, it just became slightly unreliable because of the digital link between the 2 or 3 products. The DRC plays a big part in it as well. All of those things have to be relevant and current, and some of the units outspec some of the older units. So we would have had to have got clients to buy new things, and that's not what we're into. We don't want to do that. So we don't use full DA a lot at the moment until it's at a point where everything is of the same software and firmware, and we can sort of make it solid and reliable again. And the other reason being is, when something in a full DA system goes down, when any one point goes down, the entire system goes down. So every element of the system can be an Achilles heel. In an analog system, if one thing goes down, we've pretty much got everything left. So we're not left in the lurch. And that can be at any point in the system as well. So, we took that choice. Plus the fact the new Bit1 HD deals with much higher resolution from its DAC when we're using the analog output. And that's the primary reason we use it. The other discrepancies are just business choices. We don't want a car out there in the field to fail and need, tons of diagnostics to sort it out and then to and fro. We don't want that. We want limited hassle. So that's a little explanation on full DA. But when this system first came out, we did so many of them and it was just completely rock solid. And Varley's still on the original set. So he's using the Bit 10D, the 5.1K HD, and the Quattro in full DA with different, DA input boards, both of the same spec. The Bit 10D as well, which is now discontinued, unfortunately, and there's not many products I get mad about being discontinued, but for £400, it was an absolutely stellar DSP, especially in a full DA system, because it opened up what is effectively a 5-channel analog output DSP to a 8-channel digital output DSP. So you could get into big boy territory for not a lot of money, which allows budget for, pillar fabrication or door build fabrication, things like that, So anyway, discontinued product now, but we made the decision with Varley to keep all of these products together. His system works. There's no need to change it. So that's what's going on in the boot anyway, and it's all OEM. Once you shut that boot floor, there's no problems down here. It shuts nice and flush, and you wouldn't know, But we were going to change this floor and create an amplifier rack and that, but what it does is it knocks the budget on a fair amount, but in terms of sound, he's not going to benefit anything from that, So what we'll do is we'll get all of the sound correct this time around. Everything will be perfect, and then those sort of elements of pride of ownership and the fabrication element that we can do, that can come at any point. That's an additional thing, we can just create a show-based sort of install around the existing installation that we've done. So anyway, like I was saying, this is part way through its installation, so excuse its panels missing and things like that. We're not going to put it back together for a video. The rear doors, these are solid now, so no speakers. They've all just been blanked off and heavily deadened. So these are, that's the level that he goes to with his sound deadening. There's double skins in places on the floor. Whoa, sorry for the extreme close-up. The front doors are done. What we managed to do in here is we managed to get a Miele Legend 7-inch driver in the original location. So Stuart designed a baffle that was relatively slim. It goes in there and it mounts that in a more conventional manner, like a treated MDF baffle on the door, and then the 7-inch driver in there, which should give them a load more mid-bass. These have got stacks of deadening in there. We've put all new clips on the door as well, so they shouldn't be buzzing. And then we've treated the door quite heavily as well. I'll put some photos up throughout the video so you can see the sort of stuff we've done. The dash is stripped down. This will have pillars, so it'll have stacked pillars, mids and tweets. And the pillars in the B7 RS4 go all the way back. So if you're a pro fabricator and you're watching this and you've done one of these, you'll understand that fabricating these pillars and trimming these pillars, no one can be within 3.5 meters of you, because it's just a minefield, just swinging those pillars around your head. Source unit will be the Sony 5650. This car had Bose, and it had the R&S unit that comes with it, with the nav and stuff like that. It's a lovely looking thing in the B7 dashboard, and we don't like to make things non-original, but it is just, its functionality is dreadful, you know. I mean, the car's 15 to 20 years old. I don't know, 2007, so 15 years old. You know, it's no right to have all the current tech, but anyway, we'll put the 5650 in there as a source unit. We'll also use a DAP, and we'll be making custom mounts and stuff for his DRC controller, so he can control his sub bass, which we'll cover in the next episode when hopefully they're finished, or there may be an episode 2 where we're kind of 2/3 the way through. But yeah, wicked system this, and a really cool car. So this car, he's had it a little while now. I think he's had it about a year or so. But it's all front end PPF. It's a really nice B7 RS4. It's the one you want, you know. He had a little wobble a couple of months ago, and I nearly got it off him, but God, he wants loads of money for it. Yeah, I can't wait to hear this one. I love an older car with a banging system in it. So Varley's, I've spoken about him before on video. He's a DJ. He likes a more club vibe with his sound systems, so he has loads more bass than I have, loads more mid bass clout and sort of impact than I would want. But that's how we have to tune it. We have to sit him in the car so that we can dial it in, because my tunes are too soft for him, too gentle, you know. But yeah, we'll yeah, look out for episode 2. All right, if I don't see you before, have a nice Christmas. All right, take it easy, guys. I'm Carl. It's a studio Incar, and that's Varley's B7 RS4. Bye-bye.